PJNet Live Part 2 with Del Didway. It is the bottom of the hour. We are recording. Our bumper is rolling. We are streaming on all platforms. We will switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to PJNet Live, and behind me is the baseball diamond. It is baseball season once again. Well, not really, but today's focus is on baseball because Del Didway at deldidway.com, and I'll give you that address in just a minute, just as soon as I make some things work here. Oh, they're already working. Thank you to our production staff. If you have not visited deldidway.com, you should. Because he's there every week with a new blog on Tuesday. And he is here with his, he's got some very special assistants. And Sophie, I think Sophie spends as much time with Grandpa as she does at home. How's that working out?
Oh, it's a blast. She's a ball of entertainment.
Okay. Sophie, before you came in the room, I heard your grandfather say that maybe you had been eating some Doritos. Is that true?
We love Doritos, don't we?
We can't smell your breath here, Sophie.
No,
so,
good.
Have you played, you still playing basketball, Sophie?
Talk.
Have you scored any points?
They didn't play this past weekend. They had a bye week. But she had another big weekend, so tell them what happened this weekend. Yes.
My birthday.
Oh, no. And how old are you, Sophie?
6.
7. You're 6. That's what you said last time you were here. You just turned 6?
Yeah. And you had what kind of party was it?
Star Wars.
A Star Wars party.
Were you the main character? Who were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who were
you?
Ray. She was Ray. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And she had a lot of people there, a lot of presents, and
a
lot of cake.
Crazy people.
A lot of crazy people.
Yeah, the old people are the crazy ones, aren't they, Sophie?
That was her side of the family, yes.
On her side.
But she had a good time. Right?
Sophie, I hope you have so many more birthdays and have so much more fun and so many more. You can always come here on PJNet Live because you know what? You're more interesting than Grandpa. So, and when you grow up, you'll be just like him and be uninteresting as well.
Would you be like me? All right.
All right.
Well, you got to get.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Get out of here. Go save me some Doritos.
I don't.
I have a whole bag of them.
There we go.
Yeah, the problem with Doritos, I have to get it. The big bags go on sale, and if I open a bag of Doritos, I mean they're gonna be gone. Yeah, they're gone, all of them. So I have to just better not to get started.
Exactly.
But anyway, well, Del, your blog today focused. I loved it. It was you're back to your old style of showing something good in sports. And we were talking before you got on the air. You didn't mention the transgression of the baseball team, but apparently they were doing some recon on the.
Yeah, I talked about what is this what sports is about? Is it about cheating? Because the Houston Astros organization won the World Series in 2017. They for 2 years was doing this elaborate scheme to where they were stealing signals and signs and to gain the advantage. So their hitters knew what was coming, and the counts and so forth like that. So they eventually got caught. And reprimanded very heavily, big fine. People were fired, people were suspended, management was suspended, and managers were fired, and there's a big fallout over that. So I point out, is this what sports is about? And then I give the example of what I attended last week. In fact, that was my class assignment for my sports writing class. Was we went to this game last Monday night as a class and covered an event where two rivals in high school girls basketball came together to play a game, but to raise money for a scholarship to honor the legacy of a very popular athlete who died a couple of years ago at the young age of 40. So everything that was done that night, the ticket sales, the concession, bake sale, split the pot, everything went to establish this scholarship in the name of this player who passed. And so, I go from, is this what sports is about, showing the Astros getting caught cheating, to this little town in Sauter County, Ohio, where I live, two schools, rival schools, coming together, everybody coming to this game, giving money to go, all the proceeds go to the scholarship. So I point out that's what sports is about. That's what it's about. It's not about cheating. It's not about trying to gain an advantage. It's about coming together, performing your best, and doing everything for a good cause.
In your blog, which I believe I've already put the website up there, but in case I have not, in your blog you quote that sports or athletic competition, whatever, brings out the best in us, but I would add to that it also brings out the worst.
Yeah, and I think when you get to that level, and I wrote a column a few years ago when I was a sports editor about some of the stupid things athletes have done and how they've been caught, and it does bring out some of the worst, because people at times want to gain that advantage so much. They want to do, you go back to the Tanya Harding incident with Nancy Kerrigan. Yeah, that was the worst in the Olympics, to have somebody sent in to bash your competition and to cripple your competition so you could win. You mean, are we come to that point? I mean, that was years ago. And, most recently, when you had all the controversy about the New England Patriots and Deflategate, and they're spying on teams to gain that advantage. I mean, when I was in school, when baseball, we stole signs. And we weren't as elaborate. I mean, if we picked up a sign, if I was on second base leading off, and I picked up a sign, number 2 was a curveball, and I saw it, and then we backed off the base backwards. If it was a fastball, we walked off the base forward, and signaling to my batter, "Hey, a fastball's coming." I mean, so we stole signs too. We just didn't have all these cameras set up, and all these people watching videos and picking up things like that, spending hours. We just happened to glance into the catcher if he was lazy and didn't hide his signal well, then we saw it. But that was how we did it back then.
Well, the scientist in me would employ some countermeasures. For example, if you knew all of our signs, okay, and we signaled in calls in football. I never played baseball, don't like baseball, don't anyway. But we would send in multiple signs, okay? Mm-hmm. But the one that mattered was the one after you touch your nose.
Yeah, and we had that. I mean,
okay, so you can employ some cryptology in this. Now, I remember not long ago, a team employed a professional lip reader. Mm-hmm. Okay,
that's why coaches, when you see coaches on the sidelines, they're doing this.
They're doing this, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so people won't pick up what they're saying, and we had indicators when I was third base coach or first base coach. I had indicators. So if my steal sign was touch my shoulder, but if I hit my chin first, then touch my shoulder, then steal sign. If I just touched my shoulder without hitting the indicator, mm-hmm. then it wasn't on. So people watch you and they pick up that stuff. So we did that, but I guess it wasn't to the elaborate scheme and worth millions of dollars as the World Series.
Yeah, and I was, as you were commenting earlier, I was reflecting on the statement that athletic competition brings out the best in us. Instead of saying brings out, if you think about reveals, okay, because what you have here is, the magnitude, the scope and scale, circle and circumference, center and circumference of the scheme is only a manifestation of a heart that wants to cheat anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
And
you're dead right there.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
gets down to your heart.
it does, and they all do it. I mean, I'm sorry, they don't all do it. A lot of them do it. A lot of them get caught, and then they go on television and say they're sorry, and then everything's great. So and it happens. You have referees back a few years ago in the NBA was setting, making calls to influence the outcome of the game because it was this big elaborate betting scandal going on,
Mm-hmm.
and he was at the center of it, and it happens. And so I guess when you have that much money involved, kind of takes away the integrity of the game and what it's really meant to do, and that's compete, bring out the best. But as I pointed out in the blog, what we witnessed last Monday was the best. Your two schools coming together, raising money to honor the legacy of someone who passed. So two seniors from one from each school can help. It can help them go to college. That's what it's about. That's what sports is about.
Well, I'm kind of scanning through the chat, and a thought that came to my mind that seems to be alluded to in the chat room is that the effort that people put into cheating, what if they redirected that effort into legitimate ways of gaining an advantage? It might be better for everybody.
Oh, definitely agree. But again, our societies place so much focus on winning and who you are and your reputation that sadly it's come down to that. And I've been disappointed by players who have done things and who have tested positive for things and trying to gain that advantage, and you lose respect for some of them. But then again, society places that high importance on winning and performing that they have to. I mean, you see what happened to Lance Armstrong, who won 7 Tour de France's. He's finally revealed he was cheating in all those, so all those are stripped away from him. So
Yeah, and
it's at every level.
yeah, and not only just overtly cheating, because he was involved in blood doping. Well, that was a kind of a, you weren't taking any drugs, chemicals. It was your own blood, but of course it was enriched, oxygen enriched blood.
Yeah. And you see it in horse racing. You see it in everything. So eventually you do get caught. I mean, I think you do get caught. I'm not sure, those who get away with it eventually, but with Armstrong, it came out after all his wins, after he done everything. So, but so that, it's sad that it happens, and it does happen. But again, I'm not blaming society because these people's decisions are their decisions, but they use that crutch of, well, we have to win, we have to compete, we have to win for the people, and we have to make all this money, and so they're bowing down to those social demands that we have placed on winning and being number one, and it's sad that we've come to that.
There's so many things, and of course I'm not driven, Dale, so much to win. I just hate losing more than I love winning.
Right.
But there are so many things that are good in some of the traditions, and I think some of these traditions are falling to the wayside. For example, the obvious one is the national anthem, but before, I won't go there, I'll save that if I want to get you wound up. But like the cheerleaders, when a player is injured on the field, it doesn't matter whose team they're playing on. They take a knee and have a posture. They interrupt themselves and show respect for the safety, of the players involved. I think that tradition is still very well observed in cheerleading. One that I regret I'm seeing less and less is at halftime, the home team cheerleaders would run over to the visiting side and do a special cheer to welcome the fans from the other team, and then they would kind of hold hands with those cheerleaders, and they would come to the home team side and they would reciprocate. I don't see that much anymore, and it really breaks my heart because it reinforces that this is friendly competition. It's intense, make no mistake about it. It's intense, but after the game, we're all the same.
I remember we were playing up in Columbus, Ohio, my freshman year of varsity football, and I was fortunate enough to have a starting role in that team as a safety, and I made a play, and we went into the sides, and we actually knocked down a couple of the cheerleaders. And one of them, boy, she got up and started kicking me and going. I was like, she wasn't phasing me. I had all this gear on, and she kicking me and cussing me out because I knocked her down. And I mean, she was bigger than I was, so it was I was kind of taking a beating there. But I thought, my goodness, I didn't mean to, obviously, and get out of the way. Watch the game and get out of the way if we're coming at you. So, but I have, that's a good point you brought out. I mean, yeah, there is competition, and there are rivalries. There's some people when I played against them, I didn't like them, but I didn't do anything to intentionally try to hurt them. I didn't try to cheat on them. But today, sadly, in professional sports, it's gone to that, and not to say they all do it, because they don't all do it. There's some really good guys out there. I mean, a lot of guys that I interview in my books are good guys, and it goes back to an interview I did with Andy Pettit, who was still playing with the New York Yankees when I interviewed him. Went down to spring training, spent some time with Andy. He was named in that Mitchell report, which came out and had all these players who used performance-enhancing drugs. Andy, and I wanted to talk to him specifically about that. And he agreed to talk to me about it because he apologized on national TV. And, you're a member of the New York Yankees, and you're going on press conference saying, I use these substances. But when he used them for 2 days he took this, he took human growth hormones because he had tendonitis. And he took it to actually help his body heal. He wasn't trying to gain an advantage. And he took it for 2 days. And when he took it, it wasn't a banned substance. It wasn't illegal. But he still had that connotation that he was cheating. So he's like, and I totally believed him. He was open and honest with me. He goes, I wasn't taking it to cheat. I was just trying to get my arm better. I was just trying to heal. But his name came out, and he thought, oh my gosh, I wasn't cheating. Yeah. But he was linked to it because that's what people thought about it. If you took human growth hormones, you were cheating, and he wasn't cheating. He was trying to get his body to heal up so he could play. So, but he formally addressed that with me, talked to me openly about it. I believe him. What he talked to me about. He goes, man, I wasn't cheating. He goes, I took it because they told me to take it because it's going to help my arm get better, and that's why I took it. But then he also stopped it after 2 days. So. Anyway.
Well, Dale, in all of these examples that we've kind of gone through, there's actually a spiritual foundation to it. Okay, mm-hmm. And here's I think how I would sum it up. In a biblical worldview, there's no such thing as the means is justified by the end. Mm-hmm. If we as Christians adopted that worldview, you could use that to justify burning an abortion clinic, for example. Mm-hmm. There's no biblical precedent where evil was used as a means to accomplish good. Mm-hmm. And but the pagan world, the secular world out there, certainly does believe that the means are justified in the end, and that is a very slippery slope, because once you buy into that, you can excuse or rationalize almost any form of malbehavior.
Oh, you can talk yourself into, you can justify anything if you really believe it. If you say something, if you tell a lie enough and you believe it to be the truth, is it the truth? Well, no, it's not. So these radical groups have done that. They justify it. In fact, I started a book today on abortion, and so we're going to get into some of the ugliness of that. So what I talked about in the blog was the good side of sports. The second half was the good side of sports. We experienced the good side of humanity this past weekend in Huntington, West Virginia, when my wife and I attended the Night to Shine and Shine Shoes. Wonderful turnout, wonderful event. Really blessed by it. And when I interviewed Tim, he said, "You're going to be more fulfilled than the people you serve." Mm-hmm. And it was totally true. I mean, we shined probably 40 pairs of shoes in about 2 hours, and I had my tuxedo on, and when I left, my hands were black, and I had sweat pouring down my head. But you know what? I didn't care. We felt really good. for doing that and putting smiles on these people's faces, and looking over and look at the parents who, they look exhausted, but they're over there smiling, taking pictures of their son getting their shoe shined, and it really means a lot to them. So makes you feel good. But we had a wonderful time, wonderful event there last Friday night. So, and then we went Saturday night. I heard my friend Lamorse Crawford, who's a chaplain of the Cincinnati Bengals. He came to our area and held a little marriage retreat. So we were able to go and spend a little time with him and hear him talk. Had a nice dinner. Had him listen to 3 or 4 sessions about building a strong marriage. So he and Lamorse and his wife Megan were just dynamite to talk to again.
Dale, we're out of time, but I do want to open the door. We'll probably talk more about it later. But you're actually going on a mission trip. I saw a post about it today, so briefly introduce. We'll talk more about it later, obviously.
Well, the plan, not 100% yet. The plan is I've been invited to go to Tokyo to the Olympics here in August. The plan is to go. We're seeing what we can raise. I have an X amount of dollars I have to raise. I'm pitching in my own share, but I have to raise X amount of dollars. If I can raise that here in a short time, I'll probably go, because I'll be over there I can't go there for 3 weeks, but maybe for 2 weeks. And it'll be a wonderful time. If it's with the Lay Ministries for Christ, it will be a mission trip, even though a couple of folks have said, oh, that sounds fun. And I've been assured it's not going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and I'll be going over there to help write.
I've been on a few mission trips, and they are work. But what was always good is at the end, when the work was done, the missionary locally there would take us sightseeing or shopping or have us over for ice cream, and so we always had a time of recreation and fellowship. Yeah. Afterwards, I'm sure it'll be a mixture of both. You wouldn't go if it were only for the fun.
No, so we're going to know more here in the coming days, and if anybody's out there who's contributed so far, thank you. If we do not go, that'll be returned. But right now, we're planning on going unless we're unable to hit our goal. So,
well, Dell, I hope you hit that goal. We'll miss you here, but we'll make some arrangements. But anytime, folks,
I'll do it from Tokyo.
Anytime, okay. We'll try. It takes a little while for signals to get around the world on the internet, but we'll have to have a signaling protocol. Roger, over, yes. Over. Back.
Yeah,
and forth.
We'll do it.
And you have
4 a.m.
Folks, Dell has a new computer he's using tonight, and it has performed excellently. The microphone is great. The camera is as good as the other one. So, Dell, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate your ministry. We appreciate your insights in your blog, and I hope everybody will subscribe to your blog at DellDidway.com, because I don't do a lot of reading, but I always read. Well, I just kicked him out. A click of the mouse, and he's gone. Folks, it's been a great night here at PJ Net Live. I want to say, especially to those of you in the chat room, you are the lifeblood of PJ Net Live. Okay, the content we provide here is great. Let me just tell you, I've said this before. While I have everybody here, I want you to know, when you get started at this, it's hard to get content providers like Dell and like Jake earlier, and all the people that come on board when you don't have an audience. Now, it's also hard to get an audience when you don't have good content providers. It's a real Mexican standoff. It's a catch-22, but you all have come through, and it is paying off in spades. Folks, the metrics are getting better and better. We're getting stronger and stronger together. And the comments and things are getting in some ways easier because it's easier to get people to come on board when they say, "Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that." Why, folks? I did something today. The quick update: I ordered some PJ Net stickers, peel-off stickers. That will be in, it'll be tight, but surely they hopefully will be in before the conference in North Carolina. So we'll have lapel pins for the team, but then we'll have stickers for other people who just want to, So that's kind of cool. And We also are, I think we're going to get that pjnet.tv website launched this week. I really do. I'm pretty bloody. I've been kicked around on one thing. Making it, the hard part, folks, is making mobile devices work. And to be honest, they never will work. Mobile devices are very different. They do not allow autoplay, so you have to keep pressing play, every time we switch from one song to another, and so forth. But that we're going to do the very best that we can do to accommodate the mobile environment. About half or more of the people that visit social media are using mobile devices, so we need to find a way to make that as accommodating, and hopefully they'll get a good taste of it and realize, hey, I need to come back on a desktop or a laptop. So that'll be good. So I'm encouraged, folks, and I am encouraged because of what is happening, but I'm also encouraged because of the way you all have been so giving of yourselves, and sometimes in a long-suffering and indulging way. And I appreciate you. Got to head out. We've got to make some highlights videos. And we have Lori Hayes will be here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed by Michelle Medlock Adams at 9:30. And we just got them. They just keep coming. Folks, I'm going to leave you. But I'm going to leave you with two questions and a challenge. First question is, what is the boldest thing you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And the second question is, how long ago was that? The challenge for me and for all of us is to never be satisfied with either answer.